Yo, and welcome to the Ambition Hour. I'm your girl, AUDii 3000. This is episode 18 and a half. So, Nikki did a change on her album drop date. She was going to drop it in June 15th or something like that, and she switched it to August 10th. So, I figured I want episode 20 to land on my birthday. So, I decided to make this episode 18 and a half, because we just not yet ready to get to 19 yet. Okay, so we're gonna go right into it. This week has been crazy. So much has happened. Last week we talked a little bit about the Harry and Meghan wedding, which was amazing. A lot of people woke up hella early to watch this wedding. I was not one of them because your girl loves to sleep. So your girl was sleeping. But I did get to see a lot of it on Instagram and then some playback on some other channels, and social media doesn't let you forget what is going on, when it's going on, who's wearing what, anything. So she's the Duchess of Sussex, and it's spelled like Sus, S-U-S-S-E-X. And I don't know what that means, but I mean, I guess she's technically not the queen, but she's like in line to be the queen, if I'm not mistaken. I just really wanted to talk about Serena Williams and how she was serving looks the entire wedding. The outfit for the ceremony at the church was gorgeous. Her hair, her hat, everything. She had long braids. It was so beautiful. And then she did a switch up, and she had a really nice ball gown type of style of dress. I love that. And then she had sneakers on. Hello, that's how you party at a wedding. I know she danced all night. And it's funny because I guess since I'm going to a wedding in a couple of weeks, I'm kind of excited about that. So I'm thinking of this. So I'm really excited about this wedding, and then seeing this wedding on TV, and the princess and the queen is there, and then it's such a big deal, and all this shit is crazy to me. Before I share some really cool little fun fact that I learned, make sure that if you haven't already subscribed, to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our SoundCloud channel. And now, guys, we are on Apple Podcasts, so please go ahead, share, comment, leave us a review, all that good stuff. Okay, so I learned that you cannot, so now she's the Duchess of Sussex now. Okay, so something's changed now that she has that title, and now that she's married to Harry. And one of those things is that if she's in the same house, I guess, or in the same vicinity as the queen, she cannot go to sleep until the queen goes to sleep. What? When I heard that, I was just oh, tripping. So you mean to tell me that, if it were me, I cannot go to sleep until the queen is asleep? I'll be slipping some little sleep nails on her or something like that, so she can fall asleep, and so your girl can go to sleep. And then if I was the queen, bruh, you the queen, if I was the queen, I'd be sleeping a lot. Because you don't gotta do nothing. You're the queen. You got people to do stuff for you. So my girl kind of and from what I understood, she gave up her career. She retired from acting, and decided to take on the role as Harry's wife. And I just find that so interesting, because in a world of women empowerment and all of this stuff, and we also have to remember that we are powerful, and we do hold this power, and we are allowed to live our lives, and we are allowed to do what it is that we wanted to do. But if you want to stop working and be a wife, it's okay. Us women, that's part of what we are. We are wives. The ones that are fortunate enough to find the love of their life and get married. You're allowed to be that too. I don't think that it's wrong for her to have retired or given up her career for a marriage. And they're oh, she gave up her career for this marriage. Listen, if it came down to it, I would want to be a full-time wife. Being a wife, taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, my husband, all that stuff. So there's no shade for her for doing that. And speaking of royal weddings, some real royalty, hip-hop royalty, I must add, has been married for 4 years, and I'm talking about Kim and Kanye West. They've been married for 4 years. I think that is so beautiful because so many people have so many bad things to say about them, about the marriage, about how she was, married a couple of times before and how it wasn't gonna last. So much negativity. They've been married for 4 years. They have 3 kids. Kanye is so in love with Kim, like you can tell. And it's not even just like now. You can tell from before that he respected her. He admired her. He felt this kind of love that only a man that truly loves a woman has. So congratulations to Kim Ye on 4 years of marriage. We congratulate you. We congratulate you guys because marriage is beautiful, and when you find your significant other, it should be celebrated. And now that we're also on the topic of Kanye, we're gonna go and because Pusha T dropped his album today, Daytona, and it was the first project that was recorded, mixed, and mastered in Wyoming. Now Kanye has been in Wyoming producing the albums and everything that are going to be coming out of good music. It's Pusha T that's coming out. Pusha T dropped his album today. So when I heard that news, I was like, what? That means Tiana Taylor's album is coming out. The other Kanye, the Kanye album is coming out, and there was other announcements that were made of other artists that were going to be dropping projects. And I'm really excited because Tiana Taylor actually said that Kanye is back onto his polo days. Polo days is college dropout days, guys. I'm excited for that because I love me some college dropout, instrumental samples and all of that stuff. And I got to listen to the album Daytona by Pusha T. If you haven't already heard it, go check it out. He has a couple of really good songs. He has this one song called Santeria that I'm really, really feeling. And then he has a song Infrared. Now Infrared has become known today as a diss track to Drake. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this a little bit later because I want the poll on the Instagram. Thank you to everybody who voted on the poll on Instagram of the Infrared versus Duppy by Drake. But yeah, so it's a diss track. I heard it and I was just like, oh snap! I didn't fully understand what it was until I understood that it was a diss track to Drake and the similarities and the this and that. And then so he comes out with Infrared. No, the album drops today, which is Friday. It drops this morning. And Drake comes out with a diss record back. So Drake comes back with this record. The diss record is really good, guys. I heard it, and I like Pusha T's, but Drake's is just kind of I can use this in a caption. You know what I mean? It's almost it's relevant to Pusha T, and he's definitely talking about Pusha T. But it's also kind of just it's almost like a mood. It's just kind of how you feel, how you really, this is how he really felt after hearing a diss track from Pusha T, So that emotion is shown, and I admire that. And it takes a true artist to go ahead and just acknowledge that you've been dissed, and now you have to come back with the retaliation. I find it interesting because in hip-hop, we love this. I don't love it, but in hip-hop, we love this. Rap battles technically started because it was just kind of okay, I'm the best in my hood, you the best in your hood, so we got a battle. But we win by basically making each other better. I give you the hottest bar, and then you give me your hottest bar, and then it goes back and forth. So that's where the love of rap battles came from, but they turned into beefs. Ever since the West Coast, East Coast thing is a beef. So I don't want to say that these diss records are causing beef, even though Drake sent an invoice to Good Music. I don't know, man. That's a lot of shade being thrown on Friday, man. And it's already raining outside. By the way, it's been nonstop raining in Miami for the past week. The sun came out and was just I'm out. This is too much for me. But yeah, so he So it's just basically like they're just retaliating, and it's a diss track and a diss track. They're both good. So Drake responds to the diss track with Doopy, and so now the question stands: how long does Pusha T have to come up with a response? Like, if he responds by Sunday, is that too late, or is Saturday too late, or does he have until Friday night to, like, what is the proper time to respond to a diss track? I find that very interesting, and I would love to know, like, what is it? Like, drop a comment and let me know, like, what is, like, the time frame that's just like, oh, well, he definitely lost because he took this amount of time. Because you know how, like, when you're dissing somebody and you're kind of like, you're like dissing them, you're just kind of like, well, and then and then if you're too slow with a comeback, you technically lost. So usually it's just kind of like, oh, it's kind of like seconds when you're dissing each other back and forth like that. But now when it comes to music, what is that, length that you would have to respond to a diss track? Gotta love hip hop. I found it hilarious that Drake really sent an invoice. And not only did he send it, he posted it on Instagram. Like, I find that so funny and so reckless. Speaking of new albums that have dropped, shout out to Pusha T. I'm very excited that he's dropped his new project. Despite, the little bullshit that's happening, it's a really good album. You should definitely go check it out. You should definitely go listen to it. It's 7 tracks, which is pretty good. You can listen to it. You can listen to it again. You can really understand the lyrics. The lyrics are, you can read them online, the lyrics. So J Balvin dropped a new project today, and I love it. It's called Vibras. And I am obsessed with it. I needed something new to listen to, and J Balvin just gave me that. For those of you who do not know, J Balvin is a Colombian artist. He does do reggaeton / trap music. And his new album, Vibras, is bomb. Vibras means vibes. So the album is really, really good. Shout out to all my Latinos in the building. I love you guys. All my Latina women, we queens, ladies. Shout out to my mom, who also is a fan of the show, and she watches it every time we post. She's subscribed. So if my mama subscribed, you should be subscribed. And if you haven't already, I'm giving you a little bit of time to go ahead and scroll up and subscribe. Scroll up and subscribe. And if you're listening to us on SoundCloud or Apple, please go ahead and like today's episode. Share it with your friends. Let everybody know the Ambition Hour is here to stay. Episode 18 and a half. Episode 18 and a half. So go ahead and subscribe. So I got to finish the J. Cole and Angie Martinez interview. I loved it. Like, hello. It's Angie Martinez and J. Cole. So I got to watch some of it last week, and this week I got to finish it. And it was so articulate because J. Cole talks about, because he's going on tour, which is awesome. He dropped an album 420. He's already starting tour in August. That's awesome. That's one of the best things an artist can do, I feel. And so he's going on tour, but he's going on tour with Young Thug. A lot of people ask questions like, why would he go on tour with Young Thug? Like, they have nothing in common. Like, J. Cole is this and Young Thug is that. So Angie Martinez asked him about that question, and it was just kind of like, oh, well, I don't know why people are so surprised that I decided to go on tour with Young Thug when Young Thug is a really dope artist. He goes to talk about how he gets in the pockets, out of pockets, and how, there's certain things that he does and stances, and just a whole bunch of like cool rapper terms that I am so trying to use because I've heard them before. And he just goes to say, like, how he's a dope lyricist, and why wouldn't he go on tour with him? Then he continues to say how have I made myself that artist that cannot go on tour with an artist like him? And it's kind of like, yes, but then it's kind of like, no, because he doesn't do it on purpose. He does it because of his music. you look at J. Cole's music and you look at Young Thug's music has a different type of message, and so does J. Cole. So it's kind of like, why are these two going on tour? And it made a lot of sense when J. Cole said it. So like I told you guys earlier, like, go ahead and check that interview out because it's dope. And he's saying that in like another like 1,000 years, I guess, or maybe less. I think it was 100 years. Maybe 100, maybe 1,000, maybe more. He basically said that there's not going to be any celebrities. The reason why he said that there's not going to be any celebrities was because he feels that as time progresses, us as human beings are going to develop mentally in a way that is not going to be swayed by celebrities. Right now in today's society, celebrities are worshipped. Celebrities are praised. And we're coming into an age where everybody's coming more aware of their mental health and their patterns of what it is that they do. Some of those patterns include worshiping celebrities and include, you know, that type of, you know, like feeling of just wanting to worship these artists. And it's just like, no. So he does definitely talk about how there will be no celebrities eventually, and that's because of the mental health and how more aware we're becoming of our mental health and things like that. So I really loved how he brought that into perspective, and he made me kind of understand where that conspiracy theory comes from. I never believed in conspiracy theories. I don't have any of my own. But I've heard some, and I'm just like, hey, I guess you're right. You can be right. You know what I mean? Like, who's to say? And he's saying like he's saying an amount of time that we're most likely not going to be alive. Cardi dropped a video. Now, if you guys know, when you guys are fans of the shows, you guys know I love me some Cardi B. Cardi B, like, as much as I can talk about her, we'd be talking about her on this show. And he dropped the video for Be Careful. And I thought it was so interesting because she's wearing a wedding dress. It's like her wedding. And then she's wearing, you know, dark. And I guess because it's like a wedding and then a funeral. And I took it as wedding, like, beauty, love, happiness, holiness. And then the darkness is his funeral, and this is all the dude. Dude is handsome as hell, by the way. He is so fine, like. And so it's like dark, and I also think that it represents like the end of a relationship and how kind of it's dead. And something that I found very interesting that I liked was the angles that they were using on the camera, because she is pregnant in the video, and you can tell, like, you can totally tell. But they used different angles, which I thought was really, really cool, because the angles that they used, I have never seen certain, like, I haven't seen that many artists who are making videos performing pregnant. Like Cardi just came, she changed the game, pregnant as hell, and she's still making videos. Well, not anymore, but she has these videos that she made when she was pregnant. And I just find that as a woman so inspiring. Something that I acknowledge about her and that I appreciate about her is that she's very hardworking, and you can't deny hard work, because hard work talks where, you know, money and even your mouth. You know what I mean? So hard work will always overshadow everything, because it's just like, you can say whatever you want about her, and a lot of people do, and I feel that is so sad, but they can never say that she doesn't work hard. And so K Michelle, she's from Love and Hip Hop. She's also an R&B artist. She's a beautiful singer. She had a big old booty. And because she had butt implants. Turns out that she had like a whole bunch of medical conditions, and something was wrong with her body, and her body wasn't responding very well to the implants. So she had to get them taken. She had to get them taken out. She had to get these butt implants removed from her body because they were destroying her body. And as a woman, I first of all didn't know that they were fake, her butt. I mean, I just thought like, damn, you know, it fit her. That's how I saw her. So I thought, you know, and because that was in the time where like butt implants weren't as popular as they are now. Like now everybody has them, and you kind of can differentiate which one is fake, like which one is real, which one is fake. But she goes on to say in her Instagram post, because she had a very positive message to put out to the ladies out there, you know, in the world about, you know, loving yourself and accepting yourself. And I love that message that she gave, because I feel that it's so true. And what she basically put was, so today I forgot that I don't have a big ass anymore. I looked at this picture and said, girl, your attitude is too bad for your ass to be this small. It's time for real self readjustment. Big booty bitch mentality with a real snack in the back. LOL, I'm kidding. I feel great and as spicy as ever. One more surgery Tuesday. And then she put, imagine loving yourself minus enhancements and likes. And I don't really care for enhancements, but I did work out a lot, and I did my best and overworked myself to look the best. So I know what it feels like to enhance your body. Maybe not chemically, because that's not how I did it. I did it very naturally. I worked out 2 times a day, worked out the booty, made sure everything was straight, and then doing that for likes. You know what I mean? That was basically it, because likes meant money. And with her, I feel like that's the same thing that's going on. Unfortunately for her, she didn't go the natural way. So when you don't go the natural way, there's repercussions from that. You know, you're putting something into your body that you have no, like, your body doesn't recognize that. So yeah, in the beginning it's cute, it's nice, but then after a while your body is just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is in here? Like, why, and then why am I why is it making my body feel this way? So shout out to her for accepting herself for who she is, for making it through those surgeries that she had to go through, because she did have to go through really tough surgeries to get these butt implants that were affecting her life physically and mentally. And now she's like free. Like, I'm so happy for her, and I'm so happy that she was able to do that. And she mentioned that she was grateful that she was able to pay for this, because there's some women that are going through the same pain as her and cannot afford it. And that just sheds so much light on me of what it is for some women that are going through that, you know. And I pray for you ladies, and listen, we're all in this together, so y'all stay strong. So Nicki pushed back her album, like I said at the beginning of the show. She pushed back her album. So at first it was going to be dropping June 15th. She ended up going like a live, and she ended up saying how she was changing it to August 10th. Now the name of the album remains the same, which is Queen. And I mean, I'm excited for it to drop. Like, I'm kind of sad that it was not going to be it's not dropping until August 10th, but I'm happy that an album is coming. Why? Because I feel that Nicki, not that she has to prove herself or nothing, but I feel that Nicki, when she's putting out music, it's good for her, because we also tend to forget as like humans, we forget. This woman has been going through a couple of things these past couple of months, you know what I mean? Imagine the pressure of like, oh man, you're about to lose your career, or oh man, there's a new hot rapper that's gonna take your spot, and this and that, and etc., etc. And then she has family things going on, like, you know, with her brother and things like that. And a lot of people don't want to bring that up, and it's okay. We don't have to bring it up, but we can't ignore the fact that this woman is still going through that. Because I can only imagine having my brother going through something that I have no power of changing, no matter how much money I have, no matter anything. Like, I don't have that power to change, and I feel for her. So we cannot not ignore the fact that this woman is going through what she's going through and is still working hard to go put out an album. That's why you can't get mad at these women when they're doing certain things that it's just like, bruh, a man wouldn't do that. A man would hide. Or a man would do something. Yeah, a man will be bitching and crying about some shit. I love you guys. I love boys. I'm sorry. But it's just certain things because, like, a man can't get pregnant. So, you know. But so she changed the date of the release date of her album, which is fine. Okay, cool. You got it, girl. But I saw her SNL performance. Okay. Now her SNL performance, she performed Chun-Li, and then she performed a song that she has with Playboi Carti. That is just something about like popping it up or something. I saw the snippet of Chun-Li, and it didn't look like she was rapping. Girl, come on. If you won't be on national TV, you better come rapping. And then I also kind of sort of compared it to the Cardi performance. That's neither here nor there. We do that. We're humans. You know what I mean? And then I also compared it with the Childish Gambino one. So it's just a matter of performing. And for her, what I noticed was that I can take stiffness, but I cannot take you going on stage acting very superior. I feel like that's what she was doing. She went on stage and was just acting like all high and mighty. And it's just like, girl, you need to slow your roll. You need to, you know, calm down. Like, it was just kind of like, y'all, like, she comes out on stage and it's just like, y'all better know my lyrics. Y'all don't know this, or y'all already turned. Like, it's unexplainable. It's something that you have to watch. Which brings me to my question. Does a way a performer, like an artist performs, does that change, like, how you feel about them as an artist? Like, let's say Jay-Z is one of your favorite rappers, and you go see him in concert and he's trash. Would that change the way that you feel about him as an artist? Or would you be like, oh, you know, he was just having a bad night, but then the other side of you was just like, okay, but he's an artist, he's performing, he's on tour, like, you know what I mean? And that also brings up another thing that I wanted to because SZA had to stop, you know, her concert, like stop her tour. Like, they had to pull her from the TDE tour that they have going on because she lost her voice. And then imagine that, like, imagine like wanting to go see SZA so bad, and then when you hear her, she doesn't sound her best because she's been performing nonstop for damn near 12 months. You know what I mean? Does that change the way that you feel about her? Does that, you know, like, because I don't want it to just, you know, just be like about Nicki like that, because that doesn't change how I feel about her as an artist, but it does maybe she'll change the way I feel about her as a performer. You know what I mean? Because it's like kind of like, okay, now you're acting like this, but then we got another artist, SZA, who just like lost her voice. So it's kind of like, does it change the perception? Does it not? I feel that artists sometimes have their good nights. There's some artists that don't. I, on the Ambition Hour, sometimes don't always have maybe the best attitude or don't have the best thing to talk about or whatever. You know, we all have our days. So artists are allowed for that, right? Artists are allowed to have their days too. And yeah, like, so that's pretty crazy, you know, like, it's just because I just read the next topic, and the next topic is about Michelle and Obama. Michelle and Obama got a Netflix deal. So that just got me so excited because I'm just like, oh snap, that's what we're gonna talk about. And it's just, you know, it's Michelle and Obama. They got a Netflix deal. I don't know all of the details. I just know that they did a deal with Netflix, and then I also know that Idris Elba just signed a deal with Netflix to be doing a remake or like a version of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and he's also going to be like scoring it, like the music, writing the like everything. He like full 100% creative, like creative, you know, hold on, you know, that Hunchback of Notre Dame, and I think that is so freaking cool. Shout out to the culture. I love that, like, a president, like an ex-president, is going to be on Netflix and is going to have their own, like, thing on Netflix. Like, that is so cool. So you guys know that I love to do polls on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. My Instagram is AUDii Ambition, AUDIAMBITION. That is like where I like get a lot of the stuff that I like to talk about the show is Instagram. I go to Shade Room, I go to Tea Tenders, I go to Hollywood Unlocked, I go to Baller Alert. I go to all of these different things, and I don't always take everything that they talk about because there's something that I don't agree with, or something that is just too shady, or is too, like, you know, gossipy, and I don't really like that. But there's some things that I did see that I do like, and I like getting, like, some of their questions and stuff, and, you know, bringing it onto the show. And I do like to give credit when it's due, so thank you to those sites. So I read this on Instagram. It says, girls don't mature earlier than boys. They're just punished at an earlier age for the same behavior. The results came in. And 64% of my followers said yes, and 36% said no. So I, being an older sister and having a younger brother, I agree with this. Mainly because I'm older and he's younger. But also because he is a boy and I am a girl. I have noticed that he would get away with a lot of things growing up that I wouldn't. And there will be things that I would get away with that he wouldn't. Or would. Because he gets away with everything till this day. Like, he doesn't get in trouble for anything. But I do. But then some people said no, and those said no because there were specific reasons to why. Like, when I saw who it was, like, one of them is a younger sister and has an older brother. And, you know, and has an older brother and an older sister that may have not gone the best paths in life. So then for her, it's just kind of like, well, yeah, a woman that, you know, a man can mature, you know, like, faster or whatnot. It just made a lot of sense for the people that said no, why they said no. Which you can't be mad at, because at the end of the day, it's also based on everybody's perception. That's why I did the poll, because I want to see an audience response, you know, because I want to see really, you know, how the people, I want to know how the people feel. I love doing those type of polls. And then I asked, I saw this one that I thought was so interesting. Shout out to DJ Booth, and then I got this from World Stars. There's only one constant in hip hop: complaining. In January, it was Migos' album is so long and bloated. 5 months later, it's man, this Pusha album is so short. Here's the question: would you rather listen to a 24-track album once or a 7-track album on repeat? First of all, if the 24-track album is dope as fuck, your girl is gonna listen to it more than once, because the Chris Brown CD is 45 tracks, and I can listen to that album on repeat any day of the week. Try me. As far as the Migos album, I was able to listen to some of it, and it wasn't that I just was like, oh my god, it's 24 tracks. It was just kind of like, I'd rather listen to something else, you know? And then the Pusha T album, I was able to listen to it quickly. But I also feel that if you're going to be putting out a long album, there has to be, like, some kind of substance to it. Or it could just be, like, because I love the Migos, but I love Chris Brown more. I've listened to more of Chris Brown's work. Like, I've listened to Chris Brown's albums. Migos, not so much. I only know their singles, so it's different. I would feel that answering that question would be very difficult for some people, because I would listen to a 24-track album, like, no problem. Like, College Dropout is, I think, like 20 tracks or something like that, and I can listen to that track from beginning to end, no problem. But Migos is kind of, like, different. And then there's some other albums, like the Weeknd album, that is like 5 tracks, and I have yet to have listened to it. And then there's Pusha T album that's 7 tracks, and I've listened to it. And then there's that Burgundy EP that's 5 tracks on Apple Music, And, you know, it's the shit. So, but I know that when any of these artists drops a however length track album they want to drop, like, it's gonna be dope shit. Like, you know? And I saw another one that it's just that some of these questions are so good and I want to answer them, like, and because I feel like it's so interesting, and to see the comments that people put. The one that I saw that I thought was really cool was, do you expect a man to pay on the first date? Now, I do. I do. Like, if you're going to invite me out on a date, I think you should pay. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to ask you. Like, I'm like, that'd be so cool though if I were to really like ask a dude on a date. But I would probably still want him to pay. Well, I'm not cheap. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. A man should just pay. I don't know. Don't like. I don't know, because a part of me feels like a man shouldn't, like, it should be like split. But then I came from a relationship that it was just kind of like I was paying the most of the time. So it's kind of like payback. So then that's that part of me that I have to let go. That's why I say that, you know, the man should pay first. But I do think that it should come to a point where it's just kind of like, if that's your man, then it's okay. Like, babe, I got this. I'll pay this bill today. Like, I got you. Like, you know, lunch on me. Brunch on me. You know, things like that. Like, it's okay to do that, ladies. You know what I mean? But if it's the first date and he's trying to get at you, he should pay. And then you can cover the tip. That's one of the responses that I saw the most, which I think is fair. You know, like, I think it's fair. Guys, by the way, I don't know when, how, who, or what said that women don't like when men smell good. I had two men walk by me today and they smelled so good. And I was just like, damn. Because there's some places that I go and I don't smell not one scent of cologne. Like, what's really going on, dudes? Y'all need to step it up. Y'all need to listen, ladies. I mean, I know we like a man to smell good. Boy, you like when a man smells good, we're like, boy, you smell good. Come here. Like, let me smell you, boy. and so it's funny because I found this like meme on Instagram that says, why do we even have gendered deodorants? If I'm a grown-ass man and I want to smell like a cocoa butter kiss, then I fucking will. And I agree with that, man. Because Lord knows, y'all boys need to smell good, you know. And it's not even for the ladies. It's, you know, personal hygiene, guys. Like, come on. And I forgot to share this last week, which I'm so upset about. But I'm happy that I remembered to talk about it this week, which is amazing to me. I saw that 82 women, led by Kate Banklet, protested better treatment and representation in film at the Cannes Movie Festival. It's like no, not movie festival. Film festival. There you go. Film. It's a movie. And I thought that was so beautiful because 82 women protested for the representation and treatment of women in film. And I think that is so beautiful because as women, I think all of us need to stay together and come together and not protest, but just like stand for something. Like, I was watching a novela with my mom earlier today, and it just shed so much light into this topic that women, because this show that my mom was watching is from back in the day. It's back in the day, but I don't think it's like filmed back in the day. And the woman was like, she was raped and she wanted to kill her rapist, her rapist. And she wanted to kill him. And it's just like, wow, that's crazy that that's something that is still going on. And that's something that is like was happening back then and it's happening now. Like, as a woman, I'm pissed because it's like, how is it that this is still going on? Like, how much longer do women have to keep fighting for somebody to not rape them or to be raped and then have to live with that for the rest of their lives? Like, that that just hurts me. And then the fact that women are out here working and being actresses, and there's Hispanic women and black women and white women and Asian and all races of women that are in films, and they're being represented wrongly. There's like a representation of women that's just like, oh, she's like the strong, mean bitch. Or she's the woman who takes back the man who cheats on her. Or she's the one who gets beaten by a man and then still loves him. Or gets beat by a man and then whoops his ass because she's had enough. Like, we need more roles where a woman is like just the fucking boss. Like, which I'm so excited because there's coming out the movie Ocean's 8. Which is like so many beautiful women in that movie, and I'm so excited for that. So I'm happy that that representation of women is going to be out there, because I remember growing up a Hispanic girl and seeing like Salma Hayek and Jennifer Lopez and Eva Longoria, and they play like these sexy Latina fierce women, or even Sofia Vergara. Like Sofia Vergara, like, I think it's paid more just because she has an accent. And it's just like, bro, come on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because she can play like an actress, like she can play like an FBI agent or something like that. But then that's also like, because they put Hispanic women in a category. Like, she's the funny, spicy, you know, and then, or Italian. Like, it's crazy how it ends up being like that. And so Issa Rae did a photo shoot for GQ, and it was like a tribute to the 90s. It was pretty cool because she did like a tribute to Moesha, to A Different World, to Fresh Prince, Family Matters, and I just thought that was so dope. And I love that because she's such a strong representation of just not a female, but she's also like, you know, a black female, and she just has so much power, and she's just so awesome. Like, I love her. And then like, she's so proud to be awkward, and that's where I get like my proud awkwardness from, because Issa taught me. and it's just amazing how we have different types of women representing women, and I love that. And so in this week's segment of TGIA, Thank God I'm Ambitious, I wanted to talk about the Spotify bootcamp that I didn't get accepted to. It was basically a bootcamp for women of color who do podcasts. It was pretty cool because I had never joined a competition like that. And I ended up finding out that over 18,000 women of color applied for the boot camp. And I thought that was so amazing, because that means that over 18,000 women are working towards making a name for themselves in the podcast world. And that to me was like, just knowing that information was just so like amazing to me. And the fact that I didn't get accepted didn't hurt me. It didn't hurt me. Like, it was just kind of like, wow, like last year, if I would have seen this, I would have never done it. Probably a couple of months ago, I wouldn't have done something like that. And I thank God that I'm ambitious, because I was just like, you know what, Claudia, it's your time. You gotta do this. You have to sign up for this. I remember thinking that I had to take time off of work, and I'm like, okay, what are the days that I gotta take time off of work? Because I was just like, I don't know why, who, where, or why. I feel that my name is going to be on that list of winners that they're going to select to go to the boot camp, you know, for the podcast. But I do want to shout out all the women that did get accepted, because I feel like that is so beautiful. It's like basically like a workshop, a boot camp on how to build the brand of your podcast and do all of these amazing things. And I'm really grateful, because even though I didn't get in, I did get some really cool resources. I'm just grateful for the opportunity that was. And so to wrap up today's episode, I just wanted to point something out that if you didn't notice, we didn't play any music on today's episode. And the reason being is because we're going to be having an open call for all artists to submit your music to the Ambition Hour, so we can play your music on the Ambition Hour. Do you want your music played on the Ambition Hour? please follow the following steps so your music can be played on the Ambition Hour podcast. The very first step that you need to do is you need to tag 5 people in this post. Then you need to submit your song and the secret code to my email, which is the ambitionhourpodcast@gmail.com. It's going to be below. Okay? So, and then the third and final step is when you complete 1 and 2, you go ahead and DM me, AUDii Ambition, AUDIAMBITION, and you let me know that you're done, okay? So real quick, I want you to tag 5 of your friends. Let them know. Tag them on this post. And then you're going to email me your hottest song that you want featured on the Ambition Hour to the email theambitionhourpodcast@gmail.com right below. Okay? And then the third and do not forget the secret code, guys. The secret code, by the way, is hair flip. Okay? So, and then the third and final step is once you've done steps 1 and 2, you go ahead and DM me and you let me know that you've completed steps 1 and 2. And then tune into next week to see if your song made it to the Ambition Hour podcast. This is your girl, AUDii 3000. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 18 and a half. And I'm out.